How's it going, you creepy cucks? Welcome back to another episode of Brain Damage Podcast. I am one of your three hosts, Dynamite Jared, here for another luscious, delicious, juicy episode of Cocktober in the month of Cocktober. And here are my co-hosts,
Midnight Miles
and Buddy the Bruiser.
Thanks for joining me here today, guys, to talk about... What are we talking about today?
Last week we did our underrated, just kind of rambled off underrated horror films, what we thought were kind of underrated. It was a good discussion. This week we're flipping it around, like we mentioned last week, to most overrated horror films.
I feel like we're a little bit too focused right now.
just Miles is like, all right, I gotta get this podcast fucking over with.
I feel like...
Bring it up instantly.
Here comes,
My cat has waddled out of the bedroom.
She's like, I need to hear this one.
gaining weight. What is this?
Are you shaming her on the podcast?
I'm not shaming her, but I swear to God, her legs are shorter than before.
Maybe she's just shrinking.
She is definitely...
She's an old girl. She's like 12.
definitely, like, waddling now. I feel like she had more stride to her before. Okay, getting some water.
Let her get hydrated and then see how she's striding around the house.
All right, we'll check this. She's checking to see if the coast is clear.
All right, if you want to get not too serious.
I mean, I just feel like most podcasts are like, a lot of podcasts have a general subject that they want to tackle.
You gotta break the ice. You gotta warm up the crowd. But then
they come in and they're like, and then they just kind of bullshit for about 10, 15 minutes and then be like, okay, now let's talk about what we really came here to talk about.
Well, we didn't say we weren't doing that. You asked what the topic was, and all I said was, this is the fucking topic.
It's getting a little hard because we're in back-to-back sessions right now just to break canon for all those at
break
home.
the fourth wall a little bit.
The kayfabe's dead. I try to keep it in as many podcasts as I can. I've definitely, quote-unquote, lied to the audience many times that we're recording in the fall when it's 90 degrees outside at the end of July.
It's definitely not 90 degrees out today.
No, it is not.
I have a chilly breeze on the back of my bald-ass head coming from this window over here. But how are you guys feeling today?
I was going to bring it in and say, how's everyone's October for the people that aren't.
How's everyone's cock feeling?
It feels fine. That's normal.
Yeah.
It's natural.
Mine feels pretty good today.
I couldn't help but notice that you closed your legs a little bit when I...
He got a little uncomfortable with us talking about it.
Oh, no, my cock's... I've had a great day with my cock today, honestly.
How's your cock doing at home, listener of the show? Just make sure you send us a tweet at Brain Damage Cast. That's the cast for your brain after it's damaged from listening to this podcast. Tweet us. Let us know how your cock is doing, and you may be featured in the next Cocktober episode.
Also, keep Miles isn't even aware of this, but if you've been sending pictures of your toilet, we'll get to that episode.
Okay, all right.
Hashtag rate my toilet.
All right. Oh, I like that, actually.
Fuck, I forgot. I was just about to ask you. I was like, I know there's some kind of social media campaign that we were trying to start that that I just forgot about.
Rate my toilet.
So if we have the website up by now, I'll definitely have like an email link that you can also send an image of your toilet to the email. If you don't feel like tweeting it, if you don't feel like tweeting the toilet for like the entire, like all your Twitter feed to see and everything like that, you want to email it to us privately. We will rate it on the show. It will appear on the YouTube version of the show by emailing us this image of your toilet. You are giving us permission to use the image of the toilet
to give it a proper rating and assess it scientifically. Feed. Yeah.
So in the Rate My Toilet special episodes, I'm just gonna have to kill our Spotify numbers and our Apple Podcast numbers here and say that you're missing out if you don't watch those episodes on YouTube. Because you're really going to want to see the images of the toilets that we're rating when we're really describing the porcelain bowl.
Well, okay, so I missed. We've discussed this, but I will say a couple of the accounts I follow. I think I send those to the Taco Town group chat of like the weird whole bathrooms, like not just the toilet, but the whole bathroom being like themed, like the ones that look like they have fake floors, or the ones that look like an '80s roller rink. I sent a handful of those to the Taco Town thing back in the summer, but so I'm very intrigued.
Jesus! I thought this was like 2 days ago. I was like, can I pull this up now to hear what the fuck you're talking about?
No, but I'm all in for this.
How do you think your toilet would fare in the Rate My Toilet?
Well,
I'm telling you right now, it's not getting above a 6. It's already disqualified.
No, but
by a crucial detail.
There's definitely some crucial features that are missing from your toilet.
All right. Well, if you see the back of my toilet, because my toilet actually goes.
We're just
wall.
rating the toilet. Your Hulk Hogan poster does not count.
Hulk Hogan being so when I look into Hulk Hogan's eyes every time I piss every single day, it kind of it's a good way to start.
I can see you putting the damn picture of your toilet and trying to submit it to Rate My Toilet, but really focusing the angle so it's got a really good view of the Hulk Hogan. And I'm gonna, in order to capture that angle, I'm not gonna be able to see like full bowl. Like I'm not gonna be able to see what's going on in the bowl. There could be like some worms or shit flying.
Usually the problem is I got a couple weird stains in my toilet because I use a lot of natural cleaners when I clean it. But I clean my toilet regularly. I think it's a very average toilet. I guess I'd probably, but it's nothing. There's nothing special about my toilet.
So we're talking like maybe like a 4 or 5 at the highest,
Probably
maybe
like
a 6.
Yeah, maybe
At the highest,
Well, again, the main factor, we cannot get over a 6.
It's just absolutely disqualified from being higher than a 6, without a doubt. Missing key features here, the biggest of which being a bidet. I know that amongst the people sitting in front of this microphone right now, to let everyone know, we're using one condenser mic.
Yes.
That's how we're recording this podcast. USB condenser mic. We're not official. We don't each have our.
We don't have any XLRs. There's no interfaces set up. Nothing.
I have an interface that we can use if we all got XLR dynamic microphones.
Right.
If need be for that ever to happen, so that Miles could stay seated in his chair over there, and
True. We don't even have to look at each other.
Yeah, I definitely have a soundboard that we could use for that. Anyways, out of the gentlemen sitting at this couch right now, I'd say it's safe to say that you definitely have the dirtiest asshole out of the three of us.
I definitely am a really good wiper. I know it's not the same, but I mean, I know how to wipe my ass.
Austin's like kicking him as he's saying this.
I will say I take most of my shits at work, though. So, I mean, I don't shit very often at home.
I guess, like, the burning question is, what do you have against the bidet? Because you refuse to use it. As my cat is wiping her ass across the floor.
I'll tell you exactly what he has. I'll tell you exactly what he has against it. He's a primitive shitter. Miles is a primitive defecator, and he's like can't step up to the next level. This is like if you went back in time and showed the Neanderthals an iPhone. They wouldn't understand it. They wouldn't know what the fuck was going on. They would be terrified if you're like scrolling through your Letterboxd in front of the Neanderthal. They just can't comprehend it. And Miles is like a Neanderthal of the bathroom. He just can't move up to the next level, can't get with the times. He doesn't want to be a part of a first world country. He wants he keeps wanting to live in the third world bathrooms of the world.
How many of these people are going to have a bidet that turn their toilets in, though? Because are they all just disqualified then?
They just can't get like a very high rating.
They're not going to get a high rating. We might even like be like, yeah, man, you got like a 5.5 or whatever. That's very solid for not having a bidet, for having a goddamn, basically a hole in the ground that this is like what the toilets that we're talking about right now that can't get above a 6. This is just like maybe like one step ahead of like the trench that you used to dig to shit in.
Only one step. Yeah.
You know that back in ancient times, one of the ways that people would wipe their ass was with a wiping stick.
A wiping stick.
Yeah, you would just find like a stick or have a stick and basically just like shove it in, like
shove it in your ass, like make a circular motion, get any debris out.
Yeah, the wiping stick.
Well,
but there's no wiping involved.
Well, no, you can kind of like
smearing. It's a little bit of smearing.
No, I think that like the kind of like the bark and everything on the stick is kind
there's
of
some
like
rubbing
catching, like
there's some rubbing
So if
happening.
you take the stick long ways and kind of like get it like into your ass crack, so just
what
kind
if
of
you just take a loose piece of bark and use it almost like a big toilet
maybe some
paper?
cultures did this. I'm just talking about the wiping stick, and you take this, you kind of get your cheeks on each side, clap your cheeks around this thing, and then just kind of like run it up, and then the bark will catch all the junk, all the gunk and garbage in there, if you will. Listen, we're talking about barbarians here, okay? You're only one step ahead of this, Miles. You're like, okay, like how?
The fact that I own toilet paper.
I mean, I have toilet paper too, but there's a crucial step here. I mean, before the toilet paper, but. Like, how far off is toilet paper really from
the leaves
from the
in
bark,
the bark?
from the leaves and the bark? It's
softer, sure, but you're not. There's no improvement.
This is just one processing facility away from being a goddamn tree, basically.
Thank God for that one processing facility.
You don't know what you could wipe your ass with back in the day, because you can't just grab any old leaf and wipe your ass with it back in the day. Especially back then when we didn't know if you're grabbing a maple leaf or a fucking goddamn like poison ivy or whatever. It's kind of like eating berries. You still can't really do that unless you're like an expert.
Yeah.
Yeah, so wiping your ass. So make sure you guys submit to Twitter, #RateMyToilet, or email us. There should be a link on the website, if the website exists. By the time this episode is out, you can email it to us. Just be aware that when you email us, you are giving us full permission to post the image of your toilet in our YouTube video for the podcast. Make sure you ask your landlord before you grant us permission to show the toilet, rate your toilet, and show it to the world.
Yeah, but do you have to say their actual official names? Could they have code names or something?
They can send us code names. I don't really care. Just make sure that you tell us your name and where you're from. I don't really care if it's a fake location and a fake name, but we do kind of want that. Like, okay, and now what you're seeing here is the toilet that belongs to Danny Diablo from New York.
Yeah, you don't want your name to be like Jim Ballsack from whatever.
We'll accept it, even if his name is Jim Ballsack.
All right. Well, what the fuck is on my?
You got a tick?
No, I don't know what that is. Looks like a fuzz.
A little fuzz on Miles.
Fuzz.
Well, we got to take care of that before we get into the big business at hand today.
Miles, this has been a very difficult podcast for you to kind of wrap your head around.
It's a very difficult time for you.
Because as we were talking about, we're talking about films that we think are overrated, and Miles, he just loves everything.
I feel like you guys and your alternate takes of what I enjoy and what I don't enjoy. I gotta look and see what do I think is.
So if you guys are,
I got one already. But anyway,
all right,
it's gonna be shocking. I feel like maybe
we'll put a little disclaimer before this one starts. If you are someone that doesn't like to hear contradictory opinions to you or easily offended, maybe you should turn this one off now, because we're going to be coming in with the hot takes on this one. I feel when you start to talk about things that are overrated, now we're talking about things that are held in high regard that we don't think deserve that regard. And so, some bigger movies are going to be coming up here. Some more popular films are going to be coming up here, and we might be tearing them apart. So, if you're the faint of heart, you might want to turn this one off and go back to our underrated episode, our more wholesome underrated episode that we released last week.
Showing some love this week, we're showing some hate.
is this week is definitely about the negative feelings and the hatred that we
The
have.
blind hate.
That's
The
right.
blind hate.
Miles.
You want me to start off with something? This
Well, you were building it up. You like.
I know what you did last summer. I think it's just pretty mid.
I rewatched it like in this past year, and I still don't get it.
Joel is going to absolutely murder you.
What do you think of it?
I haven't seen it in like 1,000 years.
And
I guess there's a reason for that because it's pretty much like a Scream ripoff.
Yeah, I just think it's one of the
There's nothing special about it.
There's nothing special about that film. Like
this is like one of the movies that Joel would probably use when we have the argument, like which decade has the better movies. Obviously, it's the 80s, but Joel will be like, oh, the 90s, because he thinks the 90s is the greatest everything. And he'd probably bring up, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and yeah, I'll agree with you. This isn't really like the heavy hitter that I was expecting. Like,
it's a heavy hitter I feel like for certain people growing up though, like people that are, let's say, maybe
so
late 20s or something now. Like
Jared is very perplexed because the way my cat drinks water, she normally will not just stick her head in the bowl. She likes to put it onto her paw and shove it into her mouth. So that is what we're witnessing at this moment.
How long was the
Either
last
that
podcast?
or something is in the water. The last podcast was about an hour and a half.
Okay. That's like perfect time. All right. I guess I'll come right out and say one that'll immediately hurt some feelings, but it's definitely been, my views on this have been expressed on the podcast before. I feel like we're probably going to hit like a lot of newer films on this as opposed to like older ones, but I'm sure I have a couple.
I'm sure. I have a mix
I'll
of
have a
both,
couple
probably.
of older ones, but Midsummer. Jesus Christ, man! Like,
I mean, I'm a huge fan of it.
A huge fan?
Yeah, I really like Midsummer.
Would you put a poster of Midsummer in your house?
No. But I'm also a huge fan of a ton of shit I don't have anything of in my house. But I understand completely why you don't like it, and I understand completely why. I mean, not saying every single detail, but why some people.
Are you going to tell me the thing, like, because like the consensus from my wife and Miss Bruiser when I start to talk about Midsummer, their consensus on why I don't like it is because I'm a man and that I don't understand.
I don't bring my wife also does not like Midsummer. We're both, all of us are in the same group on that. I don't know. Maisie, did Maisie like it?
Yeah, Maisie loves it.
I don't like Midsummer. Just fucking watch Wicker Man. Like seriously, just watch, please.
Midsummer is very beautiful. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
It's shot like amazingly, and the scenery is great. Cinematography is great.
It's a well-made film.
And there's some
Like,
decent gore in there, like falling off the rocks and smashed in the face. Like that's like the highlight of the entire movie for me.
Yeah, like Florence Pugh kills it. Like it's very well acted. Like I mean, just kind of sucks.
It's pretentious and boring. Like
I like slow, long horror films though. Like I always have, like ones that are kind of like just like in a certain atmosphere, or in like a certain locale.
like Salem's Lot.
Yeah, I do.
One of Jared's least favorite things Miles says that he loves long films.
I don't mind long films, but it's got to go in. Like if you're gonna make a long fucking movie, you need to pace it well. Like to make a long movie, it needs to be paced well. I can't do a fucking. I'm not saying Midsummer's 3 hours. I don't even know how long it is.
It's pretty
It's
close.
It depends on what cut you watch. Anyways,
But like I like films that are long. It's not.
Yeah.
I like long films.
You got to hit the pacing. Like you can't just be like 3 hour movie. The first like hour and a half, like nothing that cool happens. Maybe one, like in the case of Midsummer, like one cool thing happens. The guy like, or like, is it a couple? I can't even remember.
Yeah, it's an old couple when they jump off the.
They jump off the thing. Okay, that's like the one.
I
cool
like the
thing that
beginning
happens.
when she's, basically trying to kill herself or whatever, and like that whole start to that. I don't know. I like the introduction of all the characters and just them kind of getting into this weird like place that's like slowly like unveiling itself. It didn't bother me, obviously, because I said I really enjoyed it, but I also feel like let's say if it was about cannibals, I would enjoy it less or something. Like I like weird cult stuff. I like stuff like that. I think it just like it hit the things that I like about certain things about genre. But if someone doesn't like that, I completely understand that because horror has such a wide genre and what people think like that they like or what kind of atmosphere or story could drag them in. If it's just not something you're into, it's gonna be Midsummer is gonna be like a tough watch. So I mean, I get it. I mean, whatever. It's just
if it's a long movie, it needs to build. Like it needs to build and really just keep me interested the entire way through. And I feel like maybe Midsummer does build. I mean, every movie kind of builds, but like it builds slowly, and then the climax, the literal climax, is fucking like super goddamn underwhelming. Jesus Christ. Like, oh my God. Oh, they killed the boyfriend. Fuck. Wow.
The one everyone hated the entire movie.
Wow. Who saw that coming? Wow, this is terrifying. They killed the one that everybody doesn't like.
I don't even really like it. It is horror, but like some stuff like this, like, I mean, I don't feel like Midsummer is necessarily straight horror. Obviously, I feel like it's
it's elevated horror, like
yeah,
we were talking about. But
I don't consider it scary, but I also like not like scared by a bunch of stuff.
I don't know. It just wasn't exciting in any way. Like nothing exciting ever happens, and it's like I don't know. The Godfather is a long fucking movie, but I mean, there's not a second of it where I'm bored.
It's hard to put it up against one of the greatest films that's ever existed. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, but there's people out there right now that will legitimately think and say that Midsummer is probably one of the greatest horror movies that's ever existed. It's kind of like that girl in Scream, and I don't know if that line was designed to make horror fans hate her, but when she's on the phone in the new Scream movie talking about elevated horror and how it's better than like old like mindless slasher movies and stuff like that.
Probably to make everyone, I feel like
it made me hate her. I was like, oh, Ghostface needs to pop in here and take her out right the fuck now because this is bullshit.
It's a hot take. It's a hot horror take opening a film that's known to take hot takes, like in Scream, the new Scream.
Right, yeah. I thought Nope was overrated.
I haven't seen it yet. I can't comment.
It recent, I mean,
I was going to put a Jordan Peele one in this one, and it was going to be Get Out. Which I think is a good movie. I like Get Out. Yeah. I don't think that it should have been nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, that's a stretch. I mean,
I don't feel like bringing Us into this because I feel like a general consensus is that it was weaker than Get Out, which I agree with.
I agree with
That's one that I want to go back and rewatch because I remember not liking it when I watched it, but then I also felt I was kind of being like too harsh on it because I had higher expectations and wasn't.
I just don't think Jordan Peele is this horror master that I mean, if this is the bar for masters of horror these days, it's incredibly low in my opinion. He made a decent horror film in Get Out. And I haven't seen Nope yet. I heard that it's good. Joel liked it. And
I really liked Nope a lot. I understand why someone we've talked about in this podcast before, Dylan watched it and didn't like it at all. But I also feel like it wasn't the kind of flick that I think he wanted to like it. I think he liked the first part of it because it had to do so much with film itself and like the history of film and like Hollywood to an extent, stuff like that. I really liked Nope. I'd like to see it again. I don't know.
I'd be down to watch it again under different circumstances because I watched it for the first time at the drive-in. So it's kind of like I don't know, but I don't see what the big deal is about it.
Joel said that would be the perfect movie to see on a drive-in.
I mean, it was good, but like your first time like watching something like the drive-in here is right next to the freeway and just like a bunch like it's not the perfect atmosphere to watch a film if you're actually trying to watch it.
Nope is very like little detail oriented, where I feel like if you're missing a lot of dialogue at the drive-in, like if like you said next to the freeway, like it's gonna be a hard one because I feel like he's constantly putting in things that all wrap around in it. So you get to the end and it's kind of like a lot of the little things, the lines, the little shots, they all matter. Like, especially in the climax of the film, the final thing, especially. But I don't know. I think Nope on an initial watch was better than Us. In my opinion, I don't know. It had some really, really cool scenes and elements, but I also am a big like sci-fi guy to an extent, and there was hints of sci-fi in it. Even though I would say, wouldn't you say it's probably more?
Well, I mean, it's obviously sci-fi. I mean, when you have aliens, like it's clearly sci-fi
I don't know.
influence.
I'll be curious what Jared thinks. I'd like to see it again. I probably will because it is. Do you think it's this film that has the most going on? I feel like Us thinks it has a lot going on, but it's like not as deep as it
I think
wants to
Us
be.
is the most basic out of all of the films.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, out of all the films, the three films that he made, yeah.
I'm interested. I want to watch it, and hopefully I'll see it soon. I know Maisie wants to watch it too. I've not disliked either of the movies he put out. I gave Us 3 stars. Like, it was okay. Get Out,
a lot in it.
I thought was fun. It was nice. It was a good movie. When people started really putting it on a pedestal, I was kind of like, let's settle down a little bit. I'll be interested to see what Jordan Peele does next.
I feel like he's still working his way towards his quote unquote masterpiece. Like, he's just not
his opus.
Yeah, he's not the thing that he should be like known for, or become to be known for. I don't think he's made yet. I would hope not.
I hope not. Yeah, I hope not too. I want something really good from him, especially if he's the director that's going to be getting all this like hype and promotion every time that his horror film comes out. It's kind of like from Jordan Peele now. You know what I mean? He's kind of like, I don't want to put it on this level, but is there like a modern director right now that's kind of like the past generations now, like Carpenter, Craven?
Not really.
You know what I mean? So is Jordan Peele the closest thing that the current generation has to something like that right now?
I feel like because Universal puts
maybe
out
Ari
stuff,
Aster up there with him, but I still feel like
not quite there yet.
I feel like Jordan Peele being a little bit more commercially accessible than Aster is.
So in comparison, you brought up Carpenter. All of like Carpenter's like big films, especially his early stuff, barring Halloween and stuff like that, was all put out by Universal. And Universal always pitched him as like, John Carpenter's blah, blah, blah. John Carpenter's, whatever.
Yeah.
How Jordan Peele, like, Jordan Peele's Us, or like before, like Jordan Peele, Nope, stuff like that. So it's like, I feel like Universal always has liked to like kind of tie their stuff to like one big director to certain, like for like horror, I would say, and kind of like that person's like pigeon where they put a ton of money, a ton of backing. All it needs is one hit, and then they push this guy for so many years. John Carpenter, luckily, like had the range, the depth, the storytelling, the directing, like everything. Have a hugely successful career, especially for the entire decade of the 80s. Like everything he, not always commercially successful, hit or miss on some of them, but like his input, going everywhere from, The Fog to, stuff like we talked about, Big Trouble in Little China. The Thing,
it's all critically acclaimed nowadays.
Yeah.
But at the time of release, maybe something like The Thing wasn't as well received
Big Trouble in Little China bombed.
Yeah, not everything was like a box office hit, but he really, he had a name behind him. Like there were still tons of people, just like there's tons of people for Jordan Peele that Jordan Peele's directing it, I'm going to be there the opening weekend, Anyways,
obviously not me at this point because I still haven't even seen Nope. So,
well, people are saying, and I guess this is another person to compare him to, because like it's from like the previous generation before him, but people are nervous he's going to be like another Shyamalan scenario where like his best film was his first one,
right,
and then everything else is just
starts
kind of
to taper off.
like it's like what happened. So
I feel like M. Night Shyamalan was a really good storyteller, but he would have benefited if he would have had a co-director or just wrote films and put his name before them and then had someone else direct him. Because I feel like he's not always a great director, but he has good ideas.
Speaking of M. Night Shyamalan and Overrated, Signs. What the fuck, man? That thing...
I haven't seen Signs. I've only seen Signs once, and it's one of those ones that I've thought about for a long time.
Did Mel Gibson write the fucking script to this goddamn thing?
God.
It becomes like the power of Jesus versus aliens at the end of this shit.
Legend. That's definitely probably a good one to put on there. Even though I said,
the reason why I got hyped and wanted to watch Signs,
because you saw it just a couple weeks ago.
I saw it. Yeah, I just recently saw Signs, so this is fresh to me now. So my hatred for this movie is fresh now, is because for some reason on Twitter I just randomly said, it must have been like the anniversary of Signs or something. Several tweets, like several different people tweeting out the screenshot from where the alien like walks across the camera and like the news footage, like the home video footage that they show on the news in Puerto Rico or wherever it is. And everyone's like, wow, fucking 15 years or however long it's been since like this, or like,
well, the people say that's like one of the scariest.
Yeah, this is like, if you've seen this movie, you know this is one of the scariest shots in like horror history or whatever. I was like, okay, cool. I've heard good things about Signs. I want to watch this now. I'm always chasing like that classic, you know what I mean, that I still haven't seen yet. There's still classics on all of our lists that we haven't seen, and then you want to see them. Like, damn, why have I been sleeping on this for so long? So I watched Signs. It sucked, and that fucking shot wasn't even scary. The shit wasn't even scary. Maybe because I knew it was coming. I guess
that's the worst part about the internet nowadays. Like for like fans of stuff that's like film and stuff like that, is especially with memes and like everything and all the screen grabs and all the stuff that's out there. I'm surprised there's things you had like from Nope that you haven't seen or have, you know what I mean, things like that.
I don't think I've seen anything. Maybe once I see it and I'll see like a meme and be like, oh, that's what that meant.
Yeah,
maybe.
I haven't seen that. I
haven't really seen too much.
Yeah, I'm not on as many stuff as like social media. I don't Twitter or anything like that. But I haven't seen really anything. But I was just kind of curious if there is stuff out there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like, I don't know, Signs is really bad, and like, it has not aged well. Like, I always get so mad when you talk to someone that's always like, I can't watch those old horror movies. I feel like such a grumpy old man screaming at the clouds right now, because it's like whatever. But like, I always get so irritated when I'm talking to somebody. I can't watch those old horror movies. The effects look so bad and so cheesy. And then somebody will be like, Signs is great.
And they think that's an old movie.
Have you seen the fucking CG in Signs? Jesus Christ, was that even good when it came out? Fuck. It looks horrible. And the lighting for some, like, in the aliens, like, always like shrouded in darkness, even though it's like daylight, like shining through the windows. Like, never really a scene where, like, because he wants to keep it dark so the CG, like the flaws of the CG won't be seen, but it's just like,
you can't do it in the middle of the day,
and it's still noticeable that, like, I don't know, like, even in that, it still looks dog piss bad. Like, it looks. It's
so hard for me to remember. It's been
I mean,
so many years.
The alien's weakness, water, comes to planet that's 90% water.
Is that the irony of the whole thing, though? I mean, is that what?
That's like the gigantic plot holes. The entire fucking thing. Like, why? Like, you can see it.
Unless they didn't.
I'm sorry. Like, you could say, oh yeah, blah blah blah. But I mean, like.
But did they know water was gonna kill them? I guess it's been so fucking long since I've seen Signs. Did they know that was their weakness?
I can't remember. I think there is a goddamn scene where like it sees like a fish tank or something, and
It
like,
freaks out.
Like, don't want that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but you know, regardless, it's kind of funny. It's also kind of weird because isn't there like technically like water in the air?
I mean, water's
Moisture,
evaporating.
Yeah, there's moisture in the air. Yeah, I mean,
So how would the aliens even be able to fucking breathe? What state does science take place in? Because if this shit's in Florida, I swear to God.
no, isn't it like?
Well, it's all over the world.
yeah,
But where our characters are, I don't know.
isn't that like deep Midwest corn country?
Yeah, it's some weird shit. I don't know. The movie sucks.
I can't remember for sake of non-argument, I can't remember either way.
I'm sure
If I
you would
like-
love it if you rewatched it recently. I'm sure you'd be a fan.
I'd probably be like, I really liked The Village. If you want to talk about him, you guys probably don't like The Village, but I thought The Village was really good.
I think, well, what happened was we watched Signs, and then Maisie and Emily were like, we should watch The Village. And then I watched a trailer for it, and I don't know if you remember the trailers for The Village, but the trailers for The Village are literally everything I hate about horror, like, movie trailers, like, packed into a movie trailer. And so,
I don't know if I've ever seen a trailer for The
don't know.
Village.
whatever, we watched the trailer for it, and I was like, you know what? M. Night Shyamalan has fucked me already too much tonight. I am not watching another M. Night Shyamalan film.
Did they like
Tonight.
it? Do they like The Village?
Yeah, they were trying to get me to watch it, and you know what? And Joel said that I need
No, but
to
did
watch
they,
The Village.
did they like Signs? I think is what he was asking.
No, I was asking, do they like The Village? I don't know. If
I don't know if
saw
they've
it.
seen it. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but did they like Signs or did everyone?
I
think
think
it's
that they agree. I think that they liked it more than I did due to nostalgia.
Yeah.
But I think that they kind of agreed with me at the end of it all that it has not held up well at all.
I think The Visit's good. His like comeback.
Oh yeah, I thought The Visit was really good.
I don't know about really good. It was okay.
For what?
Well, he's
For
the
what
found footage purist. I mean, he's seen them all.
That's
So.
true.
It was okay. It's fine.
I like the story. I thought it was interesting as hell. But
It was fine. It was okay. You know what? It really reminded me of a film that I should have brought up in Underrated in the last episode, Grandma's House. Straight to VHS. I don't think ever, it might be released on other things, but I don't ever think it got like a theatrical release or anything. I don't even remember the twist at the end of it, but I just remember really, not maybe really enjoying, but enjoying it. So, anyways.
what do you, buddy? I don't think have you even shared an overrated yet?
I
don't
said
think so.
no.
Oh, you did just say no.
Did you say one?
Yeah, I started with that. I know
started
last
with-
summer. I started because that immediately stuck out to me. I'm just like,
Let's see. I'm sorting my. Okay, so here's one that I think it's overrated because everyone's like, "Oh, this movie's so bad it's good." Because I'm just looking at my fucking lowest rated Letterboxd. I don't think Troll 2 is so bad it's good. I think Troll 2 is just like mid and stupid. Like I don't know why everyone's
so
like, "Oh,
bad that it's bad."
no," but like everyone's like, "Oh, you gotta see Troll 2. It's the worst movie of all time." Like, blah,
It's-
like it's just like
it's not the worst movie. It's just the tagline. It's like the tagline is
best worst
becomes, like-
movie. Yeah.
I like Troll 2. I think it's hilarious. There's like that one line. I watched it when I was in college. I ordered it on Blu-ray. Guy sat down to watch it, and the line where he says something, the dad says something like, the kid says something like, don't quote me, internet, but it's something like, "I'm hungry," or this or that, and he's like, he like misbehaved or something. He's like, "Well, you're gonna have to tighten your hunger belt, son." And the dad like opens up his belt and just like tightens it up, or just does like the little like stupid quirks. I don't know. It's just, it's got a lot of charm. I like it. I like Troll 2, but I don't know. I think a lot, the thing is like, these opinions on a lot of this stuff to me is like, just because like regular average, like, I don't say average normal people, but like people that haven't like watched a lot, like they see Troll 2 like, "Oh, that's the worst thing they've ever seen," because they've never seen anything like it. Or they see like Get Out or something like that, and they've never seen anything with that kind of like social commentary or something like that, and they think it's like, it's just because they've never really, like, this is the first like mainstream or it becomes mainstream experience that people have with flicks, and that's where the overrated, the overhyped comes.
That's what I'm saying. It's overrated.
Yeah, I mean,
If you want a hot take, I can give you a hot take because I'm going.
Let's go for
I'm
it.
going,
yeah, just do.
I was
Okay,
gonna say,
okay,
I feel
so-
like these are all like softballs that we've been throwing. So
Blair
far.
Witch Project.
Oh, I love the Blair Witch so much.
I appreciate what it did, but nowadays there's so many better found footage movies that you could watch.
I'll agree with that. There's definitely a ton of found footage movies out now. Blair Witch Project is interesting to watch now as the kind of prototype for that, even though
Like the one that kickstarted, like it wasn't the first found footage.
Last Broadcast predates that, and even before that, Alien Abduction McPherson tapes, I think, is even before that.
Yeah, but it's the one that kickstarted it in the mainstream. So I appreciate its significance, but I don't necessarily ever think about going back and rewatching it.
I rewatched it so many times over the years.
That sounds horrible.
I don't know why, I love the Blair Witch. So, I mean, but again,
I think Blair Witch 2 is underrated.
I tried to watch Blair Witch 2 a couple years ago.
I'm just gonna have to hand you your fucking. I'm just gonna have to hand you your goddamn clown card right now. Underrated. That thing is a piece of dog shit.
But I think it's so bad it's good.
No,
it's fun.
It's one of the hardest things I've ever had to watch.
I could make that argument for every bad fucking movie except for Midsummer.
The way that they shot it. That's the quickest edits and cuts I've ever seen. They're nausea-inducing, and I never say that. I try to sit down and be like, "Oh yeah, I could probably get in this." I could watch it. Tried to rewatch it.
I'm surprised you don't like Blair Witch 2. That's right up your alley, though.
But I could. It just.
You remember when Dan Lacey was obsessed with Blair Witch 2?
I love Blair Witch 2 so much.
Oh my god! Book of Shadows, my bro. No, I understand where you're coming from, buddy, and I think that Blair Witch was a really polarizing film even when it first came out.
It was, yeah.
That a lot of people were kind of like you either loved it or you hated it. It's tough for me as somebody that really appreciates originals, to take it away from horror films right now. Okay, there's a huge notion in the anime community, right? That shonen anime now is better than it's ever been. Okay? Because they've taken all the concepts, all the innovations that Dragon Ball Z or Fist of the North Star or fucking Yu Yu Hakusho and stuff, all the things that these shows kind of popularized and innovated. Now the shows have taken those concepts and kind of
refined
them and did it. So now your big climactic fight, instead of being against Frieza for 20 fucking episodes, now it's a 2-episode fight with really good animation and all that stuff. So now that's the argument that shonen now is better than it's ever been, and I disagree with that because I always have just that extra appreciation. I'll watch Fist of the North Star, the entire fucking anime series, and all 50 goddamn episodes of mid-ass filler that are in it and everything, and still appreciate it and be damn, this is a fucking great show. Dragon Ball Z is always going to be maybe some of it's nostalgia, but I mean, I didn't watch Fist of the North Star till I was 30. But I'll always appreciate the the prototypes for stuff like this. And so the Blair Witch Project, while it may not be the most exciting found footage movie that you could ever find, because really it's a whole lot of nothing happening for an hour and a half that ends with somebody standing in a corner. But at the same time, I do kind of appreciate the subtlety of it. Yeah. And I do know that there's a discomfort that you get from watching the first Blair Witch Project that doesn't make it a necessarily pleasurable viewing experience or entertaining viewing experience. But when you see all the characters slowly disappearing, and then they're getting more lost and more agitated and more just like upset and confused and everything, and it starts to get like really uncomfortable, building up into now like the final like portion of the movie where they're going through the house and everything, and just like, even though the payoff is kind of weak, is like upon first viewing, which is how I have to like look at it through this lens. Upon first viewing is like probably some of like the most like tense, like
It's very tense.
like shit like that I've seen in a horror movie. The first time I watched Blair Witch Project, and maybe the reason why it's so polarizing is because at the ending it gets so tense and then just ends so abruptly with someone standing in a corner. And then like a lot of people see that and are like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Like they're expecting something, you know what I mean? In the end, though, when you think about the context of the film and like the things that they say or like interviews or whatever that they do in the film and everything, where they're talking about people standing in the corner, how the witch will make them stand in the corner or whatever while this happens and everything, and then the camera drops. So now you know what happened, but it's shown to you in probably like one of the creepier ways possible. I appreciate that, but I also understand where you're coming from, where it can be kind of a painful slog to get to that point. So
I don't think modern audiences would. I don't know. I don't
think a modern audience, like I said, and it goes back to why I draw the comparison to like modern anime audiences, because somebody that's going to watch My Hero Academia might not necessarily be able to go back and watch Dragon Ball Z. It's just like we grew up on it, so like we are like, wow, like that's like that's peak right there. And when we see My Hero Academia or Demon Slayer or something like that, it's like, okay, this is good, but I already saw this in Dragon Ball Z. That was the peak right then. Yeah. You know, this character just got a transformation. That's not as hype as the first time Goku went Super Saiyan. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. But to a younger audience who's getting introduced through like the new modern stuff, like their first transformation that they see is like goddamn Tanjiro going like half demon or whatever the fuck he did in the Entertainment District arc, and like, you know, the animation's like insane and the fight is like insane, and they're like, whoa,
the animation's stupid.
They'll go,
like, it's insane.
Yeah, they'll go back. They'll go back to Dragon Ball Z. That's not the first thing they saw. Now they saw the newer version of that, and they're like, oh yeah, this is the fucking like the booty version with like the bad animation and the fucking kind of goofy voice acting and stuff. So I mean, you could like say like the new generation watched Paranormal Activity 3, and that was like the movie that, wow, these found footage movies are really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really interested. I want to go back and watch Blair Witch Project. Well, fucking God, not even a tenth of the shit that happens in Paranormal 3 happens in Blair Witch Project. So they would be like, what the fuck is this? It would be like if here, it's kind of funny that I have this on here. Willow Creek.
Willow Creek, yeah.
If Willow Creek was the first found footage movie that ever came out, would that be a good film?
Debatably, because I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I've seen that once. I can't.
That's like really inspired maybe by like something like Blair Witch.
It's more close to the Blair Witch Project than it would be your more modern found footage kind of thing.
I will say I've shown the Blair Witch Project to at least 5 people who had never seen it. They were like, I was there for their first viewing experience, and they visibly got like very into it and very much enjoyed it. But maybe it was the kind of people I was, you know what I mean, I was hanging out with or whatever. But I also do think that maybe this is just a hot take, but this is just from experiences I've had in general. I feel like I would say if you're talking about a younger generation, like I would say a lot of like women that I've met like a lot of like some of the older stuff or have like a better appreciation in comparison to like some of like younger dudes I've met that have tried to watch the same thing. They seem to be turned off to like I'd even like the Dragon Ball Z, My Hero Academia, like references.
Or it can even go to something else. Like, goddamn, the other day, there's this new kid starting at work, and my major character flaw is thinking that every dude that has slightly long hair has at least decent taste in music. But this new guy starts at work, and I hope he never listens to this podcast. I hope he's never like, oh, Jared has a podcast, and tries to listen to it. But, so usually when I'm training someone at work and I'm going to put some music on, I want to see, like, okay, what type of music do you want to listen to? Because even though I guess it's not true, and I guess I'm very picky about music, there's a broad array of genres that I actually do listen to. So when I'm sitting here thinking, like, man, I listen to a wide variety of music. I think that we can find some common ground somewhere. What can we listen to? Hey, man, what kind of music do you want to listen to? What's your favorite type of music? Oh, I don't know. I guess I listen anything but rap. Now, I should take that as like a bad sign right from the start. Yeah. Like that you're like one of the
there's no
genres.
Rap you can like.
Yeah, there's no rap that you can listen to. Is a very closed-minded look on things, but
yeah.
He actually had a kind of a decent reason to it, but so I was like, well, what kind of music? Like, what's your favorite type of music? What do you listen to the most? I guess rock. All right, brother, you got to help me out. Like,
I guess. I'm just like,
what do you want? You want me to fucking you want me to put the Beatles on or fucking goddamn Deicide? Like, what kind of rock? I guess alternative rock. Okay, sick. Like, let's go. Like, who's your favorite band?
Yeah.
Cage the Elephant. Well, I'm not going to play Cage the Elephant.
They got a couple slammers. One of my exes was really into Cage the Elephant. They got a few slammers, but anyways.
I was like, well, I'm not going to play Cage the Elephant.
No, I wouldn't even play Cage the Elephant.
And he was like, oh, and I was like, how about REM? Who's REM? I've never heard of them. I was like, okay, well, we're going to listen to REM. Because, I was like, because your little Cage the Elephant band that kind of sucks, let's be honest. Like,
I mean, they have some shitty songs, too. I do like some of their stuff, but I think they're non-radio songs. They had one album, I think it was like their second or third album, that was pretty good. No, I'm just being honest.
Miles over here doing the deep dive on Cage the Elephant. No,
I mean, when any of you know, when you date someone, you have like bands or artists that like your significant other like listens to a lot, so by default you have heard some of their songs, or especially being older, like albums, like people used to throw a CD on when you get into a car and you just leave the fucking CD on,
Yeah, it's kind of how I discovered how MCR has like a lot of songs that aren't that good.
Wow, all right.
But yeah, I mean, anyways, like, and in this case, like, I feel like I'm going to bat for a movie that I really actually don't even like that much in Blair Witch.
It's a good argument, though. I probably would have said a similar argument. I like how Blair Witch, to me, like, almost no other film has felt so real, in a sense. I hate to say that, because some people, I just don't like using that, but, like, I really feel like those people, like, I'm just like watching them, like, and this is their actual life. Like, I feel like they're partying in the hotel, they're interviewing people, they really want to go out, make this, quote unquote documentary to them, make money, hit it big, like do, live the American dream. And they're just getting, subtle hints from the beginning, they're getting way over their heads. You know what I mean? These are not people that are prepared to be in one of the most. Don't they say in the film it's like one of the most vast forests, like at least on the East Coast, like there's so far in, especially the thing is before cell phones, like especially the cell phones that we use now, like or before great reception. I mean, this was a very terrifying thing of being truly lost alone in the woods. Not to mention some sort of fucking possible entity, whether maybe it's a spirit, a witch, or it just could be a deranged killer. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't know.
You never find out.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't know.
It could have
what's
been
out
the
there.
other guys fucking with the girl. Like, you never
Exactly,
know.
yeah,
Like, there's all these,
exactly.
like, theories about it.
Yeah.
It's I'll just like never forget like the first time that I watched it was like at like 11, like 10 or 11 years old. Like 11 o'clock at night. My older brother ordered it on like pay-per-view or whatever, and we're watching it, and then the ending happens, and he's like, "Well, what the fuck was that? That sucked." And I'm over there just like scared fucking shitless, like, yeah, that sucked. Like,
Yeah.
but in reality, like 11-year-old me was like, fuck, that was, whoa. Like,
Yeah,
woo.
yeah.
Like, but
Especially to see something that young, because it's so different. It's not like watching a mass killer film where, like, Michael Myers, you see him, you know what you're looking at. You see the killer, the horror in front of you. There's not as much left up to the imagination as in Blair Witch,
Yeah.
But I get your take. I get it. That's to each their own.
Like, I appreciate what it did, but I'm not popping it on
All right.
to watch. I mean,
Okay.
I get that. I'm probably never going to watch it again in my life either.
I probably will.
I guarantee that you will.
Yeah, true.
All right, Miles, hit us with a hot take. Let's go.
I know. That's what I'm trying to think.
Let's
of, like, one
fucking go. I'm trying to get pissed.
I thought but I'm kind of glad. I guess not glad, but I'm surprised you didn't hold "I Still Know What You Did Last Summer" in higher regard.
Are we talking I still know what you did, or
I'm
I
sorry,
know what
I
you
What You Did
did?
Last Summer.
Because I still know what you did as a masterpiece. I'm just kidding.
I can't even fucking remember it. I'm really trying to look here. I'm trying to get some of that. So, some of your mid scores where you're like, oh, someone would fucking.
Jeepers Creepers overrated.
I almost
Yeah,
was,
I've always-
I
I
almost was
mean-
gonna say, I almost was wondering if someone was gonna say that because I felt like.
I don't even need to like really go into my explanation or anything, but yeah.
I've got one that might be a hot take. If
I bet
if
you
you're
Jeepers
still-
Creepers overrated is probably a pretty popular opinion now because of the director.
Because of that guy, like that's the problem with that. It's like one that I really enjoyed it when I was younger, and it was kind of like different when it was coming out, and I like the creature, I like everything. But the problem is, now we know the man behind it, like the director and everything, and it kind of puts a stain on it where it's like you just don't want to almost like think about those films ever again and things like. And they're coming out with a new Jeepers Creepers in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it's a remake. He has nothing to do with it. I'm probably gonna see it, of course, to be honest, because I'm curious to see what it's like now. But it's just one of those ones, like, I completely understand why it's overrated. I think, again, it came out at the right time. People were really into it. Obviously, there wasn't a lot of, Elm Street, Leatherface. Also, it was right before all the remakes came
Right,
out. So,
yeah.
it kind of filled a void for people that were looking for maybe something,
like a new face
like a
to
new
horror,
horror
yeah.
like, icon,
I'm proud to say that I always thought it was overrated even before all the shit came out about that director, or at least before I even knew about it.
It was very our generation, because we were about 14 years old when that came out. I feel like people, as you're, I know we were young, and 14 is very young, but you're starting to like learn about stuff. You're starting to see some stuff, flicks and different stuff like that. And I think the generation above us, like people like 16, 18 or older, really fucking loved Jeepers Creepers, just like one that
A lot of kids that I went to school with loved it. They would always sing the song and then do this, like make jokes about Jeepers Creepers and shit.
The first time I saw it, I didn't get it. I didn't see why it was held in such high regard. Because at that point, I mean, it probably had been out for like 7-8 years or something stupid like that. So it had been hyped up so much, and then I saw it, and I kind of thought it was like ridiculous. Like he's like fucking. I think at one point he either like flips a car, or, like jumps on top of a car, or, like something, and I'm just like, this is stupid.
That's
Like,
probably
I
one of the
don't
better
know.
parts of the movie.
I had fun with Jeepers Creepers too, with the school bus. I actually got to see that in theaters. I saw that at the old Saybrook Theater. I still don't think I was 17 when that came out, but obviously they let me in alone. I went and saw it alone. Anyways, but then that became almost more like action horror, because you start talking about he starts doing some of the crazy like feats and stuff, like with the school bus and flying and all the stuff. I mean, I think, and you guys will agree with me on this, but one that also from that era that I didn't watch until I'd already seen the sequel. I think House of a Thousand Corpses is overrated.
I was gonna bring that shit up.
He's had that on his screen for like 20 minutes.
All right, well,
And I'll throw it on here too. The one that everyone thinks is better, Devil's Rejects, is fucking overrated too.
I like Devil's Rejects.
We saw that for free at your fucking Sticky Floors. Dan's mom got us in there. I think you were with us.
I don't think I saw it in theaters. I think I saw it. Did I? No, I don't think I did.
Maybe it was Luke Lips or something.
It's probably Luke. I think I rented it for the first time, but I saw Devil's Rejects before I saw House of a Thousand Corpses.
Me too.
And Devil's Rejects was at. I would like to think on paper, if I looked at the stories, news stories about House of a Thousand Corpses, I'd be way more into. But I really like Devil's Rejects and what it was about for what it was at the time. And then my first serious girlfriend, her brother, Mitch Urbano, would come home from school every day when I was dating her and watch House of a Thousand Corpses. He watched it every single day after school, every single day. He'd be down in the basement watching it, and the scene where it has the slow-mo scene where he's about to get shot in the head, I could always time it and hear it. I could hear him down there like laughing or like getting a kick out of it. And I never watched it with him. I saw like 5 minutes of it, and I think to that point I was like, I didn't watch House of a Thousand Corpses until I was like 21. I put it in. I watched it. I'm going to sneeze on the podcast. This is what I'm doing right now. I guess I'm not. I watched it. I thought I was. I felt that scene. I'm like about to blow all over this. But I watched it. I liked it. Like the beginning especially. But it got towards the end and certain things like that. And I don't know. It just fell apart for me. It felt like his first film. I felt like, which normally never bothers me, but I felt like Devil's Rejects was so much like, for what it was much more confident. The situations were better, all this stuff, where it was like more like House of a Thousand Corpses was legit just like a sideshow attraction type thing, and there wasn't much to it. But everyone was on that flick's dick for years. I had to hear about it.
Is that your hottest take?
I don't know if that's my hottest take, because I know how you guys probably feel, about it. But I mean, I do think for certain people that is a hot take, because talk about a modern cult classic. I mean, there's a ton of people that are really into it.
I think I've talked about it on other shows, but like,
I hate Rob Zombie. Before you get into this, like Rob Zombie, as a director, as a musician, like I don't like anything this guy's done. His best fucking film was the Halloween remake, and even that is like one of the weaker Halloween movies. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I've seen Devil's Rejects a few times, but like House of a Thousand Corpses, it's either one that I didn't watch or I watched it and completely left no impact on me because I have no memory of it at all.
Okay.
But like, part of me is like, yeah, I must have watched it, but then like, it's fucking was nothing to me.
I've liked it. I've watched it, I think, 2 other times. I think. At least once, but I think 2 other times. I liked it more on each of the times I've seen it.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's just the hype train was through the roof. It just wasn't, I don't know.
Are you tired of plain old breakfast? Sure is not sugary enough.
Are you tired of burnt pancakes and waffles? Then you need slapjacks!
To slap against your face and cause a chemical reaction to heat up.
No cooking required, just slap and eat. Don't believe us? Here's a satisfied customer.
Slapjacks are the best breakfast food ever made. Slapjacks, slap those smiles back.
You heard it here, kids. Slapjack saves lives. Order at www.slapjacks.com.
All right, so we just got interrupted by the brain damaged wives here. I just want to ask them real quick. What do you think's the most overrated horror movie that you've seen?
That I've seen?
Yeah, well, you have to see it to have an opinion to think it's overrated. Sorry if you can't hear her.
Midsummer.
To the viewers.
My wife said Midsummer.
Let's go! Let's go! That's the first movie I brought up, I think. Buddy said nope.
I didn't see that. I guess like Annabelle, The Conjuring, all of that.
The Conjuring universe as a whole, I'd say, is
Yeah.
overrated.
I thought that was just like known to
I was just gonna throw in Insidious.
The first Insidious is super overrated. Yeah, I can completely agree on that. That was one I saw in theaters at a second run theater when I lived in Pittsburgh, and I was super let down. Not super let down, but let down enough.
I swear to God, Al was like, "How dare you
I'm sure
not
he
like?
loves it.
How dare you not like Insidious?"
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, it's like Freddy Krueger, Darth Maul,
it's
in every haunted house movie that I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's
like,
just so rehashed. It just feels like everything. If you watched horror at all, you've seen the Insidious in 20 other different films. Like that's its biggest flaw, obviously.
and I don't like Insidious 2. I know that you like it.
I like.
It's definitely better than Insidious 1.
Oh, by
100%.
Yeah.
Don't you dare.
And 3, I think 3's the best one of any of them. I'm being.
I like 3, but it's like a prequel, and like I don't know. It's for me. I don't like it as much as the first 2.
Maybe I should watch 3 if you say it's better than the other 2.
4 was fine. I like
4 sucks.
I like the creature in 4. I mean, that was.
I like the way Part 4 ties into the first couple.
I saw Insidious 1 and 2 and said that I was done. I didn't even know there was a fourth one.
You know me. I just watched. I don't hold the whole series or the series at all in high regard. I think they're fine for what they are, but like 1 is absolutely overrated. That's probably one of the best as far as takes on this show. That's definitely that's a pinned one for me.
I've got one. I don't know if it's a hot take or not because I know people really fucking love. I don't know if we'd call it a franchise yet, but it's 2 films. Quiet Place. I don't get what the big deal is.
Oh, we watched Quiet Place 2 together last year. I remember
We
that was
did.
one of the first ones we went back to at the.
Quiet Place 2, a big improvement.
I wouldn't even say a big improvement.
It's just
They're about the same.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just like I like the Quiet Place. I like the idea, and I like the creatures and stuff like that. I think it's a really cool and terrifying idea.
The first one was good.
But
I forgot we saw that together.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, I get it.
I don't see what the big deal was. Seeing the first one in theaters was one of the most unique theater experiences I ever had. Because, like, everyone's just like, oh, am I allowed to eat popcorn, right? And, like, everyone's just being, like, so awkwardly quiet.
Yeah.
But, like, just, like, as films, like, I don't see what the hype's about.
I feel like they're those, like,
100%
creature of the week, like, fun things, but they're not something that has, like, I don't know. I have a soft spot for stuff like that, too. Like, things like, even, like, let's say...
Well, we know you like everything.
I don't like everything. But, like, stuff like that I don't watch all the time that I enjoy. I mean, I would put this on a much higher pedestal, but I like The Mist a lot, but The Mist is way better than... They just, like, vaguely remind me. The post-apocalyptic, like, the creatures, you know, and stuff like that.
The Mist is great.
Yeah.
The Mist is so good.
But I feel like, I'm just saying, like, the Mist TV series is really good. I know neither of you watched that.
I didn't even know that existed.
I didn't know that was a thing.
existed.
No, but it came out way late. It came out like 5 years ago. It was really good shit. I really liked them. I wish they would have continued it. They only did 1 season, but like Spike TV or something did it before it ended, or like USA or something. But I can get that with A Quiet Place. I don't know. It's hard because I feel like a lot of the generation coming up. I mean, these are like
Is Quiet Place really hype?
Yes.
I think, yeah.
Quiet Place is really hype.
But
Yeah.
the fact that
I must not be paying
the
attention.
kid dies immediately, that's kind of a thing, right? I mean, kids dying in movies is usually a pretty good, like, shock factor.
It is.
That was what got me sucked in, but then it was kind of like from then on, you don't really get hit until the end when our poor man Jim goes out.
Legend.
Rip to the legend.
I do.
I think I cried
do like him.
when that happened.
But we're talking about Hunter. I'm like, yeah, I do like these.
I have not said a positive thing about him. Okay.
But he said it's absolute dog shit, not a single.
I just don't.
I think I gave both of them like 3 or 3.5. I mean, I enjoyed
Yeah, I
them
mean,
both
they're
there.
fine,
Yeah,
but it's not like everyone's like, oh my fucking god, A Quiet Place. I can't wait for part 3. Like, I'll watch part 3, but like,
yeah.
again, I don't get it.
All right, boys.
You got a final one?
So, I mean, we brought up one on the last episode that I'll just kind of rehash right now, and I'll take my clown card. Dawn of the Dead, original.
Yeah, there we go.
Thinking that one's a little overrated. I don't want to go into it because I haven't seen it in a long time.
He has the merch on, Jared, and you're being disrespectful.
Dawn of the Dead is tied as my favorite film of all time, so I'm not even going to argue on the podcast. I'm just going to drop that on there.
I don't think that there even needs to be an argument because I feel like everyone already knows the argument. I don't even have good reasons as to why. Like, honestly, I guess like my only good reason is that out of the Dead films, it's like the slowest and most boring, like out of all of them.
You gotta watch the extended cut, bro.
Oh, geez, yeah, even longer.
Even longer, can't wait.
It's all gore. All the extended cut is all extra gore. I mean, that's all it is. Headshots and shit, like sniper like scope headshots.
Well, I think I have the extended cut on VHS, but all right, are you guys ready? Because you guys are like, oh yeah, I think this one's a hot take. Fucking goddamn A Quiet Place, or like whatever.
Dawn of the Dead is. I really thought
Blair Witch is maybe slightly a hot take, but it's like it's so polarizing that it's almost not really a hot take.
I Know What You Did Last Summer was a hot enough.
That's not
hot. In certain circles.
Wasn't this overrated?
Yeah.
That movie blew my mind.
Okay, thank you. All right,
I read the book first. I read that book in middle school, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then I realized there was a movie, and Jennifer Love Hewitt is in it, and she's really hot. So I was like, okay.
Jennifer Love Hewitt's definitely a strong aspect.
The movie did the book justice, so I was like, this is good. I think it's good.
Okay. All right. I didn't say anything either way. I think it's a fine movie. I haven't seen it in forever.
But did there need to be a sequel? I've never seen the sequel.
There's like 17 sequels.
Yeah, there's like so many.
There's at least 2.
I Still Know What You Did Last Summer before the
12.
summer that like
Are there that many now?
there's at least 4. There's at least 4.
There's like 4. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Gotta make that money, baby.
You got a final one?
Final one?
Huh? You didn't even let me do. You
just said it.
No, I didn't.
Dawn of the Dead. Isn't that a hot?
No, I have one.
You
I
got
have one that's like fucking. I'm ready to accept my clown card for.
All right.
The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh. Well,
Comes the night.
This will be my last episode of the Brain Damage podcast ever.
I'm looking at it right here, right next to Suspiria and Midsummer, all 2 stars.
Well,
Jared,
guys,
oh my god.
I need to rewatch it, but I understand that this is probably the My Hero Academia syndrome for me. Because no, because hear me out. Because I can watch something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and see how when it came out, that it was like probably an extremely effective film that terrified everybody, made everyone uncomfortable, and all this shit and everything like this. By the time that I got to it, when I was like 22, actually I think I was like 18. But
you might have been that old because we talked about it when you watched it that you didn't.
By the time I got to it, I was like, man, this is just a movie with no jump scares and really bad production value. Like, I don't know, just like it didn't do anything for me. I will say this: the dinner table scene, iconic, and that's extremely discomforting and ineffective. Everything else in that movie, it didn't do anything for me. It was one of those movies where it's like, oh my god, everyone thinks they just saw like a bloody massacre, but there's barely any gore in it. Where I watched it and I was like, shit, where's the fucking gore? Like, I don't know. So like, that's just my reasoning. I know that I'm wrong. I like.
Oh my god! Save that. I'm gonna get a quote.
I'm not gonna.
Never heard him say that in his life.
I'm not gonna die on this hill.
Never heard. before.
I'm not gonna die on this hill. Texas Chainsaw Massacre did not connect with me the way that it apparently connected with literally every single other fucking person that's ever watched it in the history of watching films. It just didn't hit me that way. I don't know why. I'm sorry.
We all have. We all have those. I mean, that's we all have those. Obviously I can't see it or understand it at all. But I've tried to understand every single pick on the show so far. But I don't think I can top that, buddy. I don't think I can top what he just dropped. I mean,
I don't think I can top that either. I mean, we could just talk about overrated films all day.
Trick or Treat.
Stop. Clown take.
I gotta hear about.
He got more mad about me saying that Trick or Treat's overrated than Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So you, the listeners, can think about that for a second.
I had
Who's really overrating this? Is Trick or Treat being overrated more offensive than Texas Chainsaw Massacre being? I'm offended that I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is overrated.
I had to
Trick or Treat is a fine film. It's okay. It's good.
I had to hear him say that 2 of my top 10s of all time.
It's good. It's not a modern classic. Let's fucking calm this shit down. It's not that good. All right.
Well, you're gonna have to come with us when they show it in theaters for the 15th anniversary.
Wow, and I will enjoy it, and I'll be like, damn, this is good. The problem with it being so fucking overrated is I gave it 2 stars, even though I know it's like a 3.
Stop!
I know. It's like a 2.
He knows he's wrong.
I know. No, listen. I know it's a 2.5 or a 3, but it's so fucking put on this fucking pedestal, like it's right up there with goddamn like Halloween or something.
Nobody said that.
Or you mean that other 2-star film you gave the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
It's not touching Texas Chainsaw. It's not touching Dawn of the Dead.
Oh my god.
Okay, it ain't touching these fucking movies.
I'm sick.
But like people acting like it's 4 stars or 4 to 5 stars when it's not.
That's my uncle. He loves that movie.
Yeah, it's well, everybody's obsessed with it, and I watched it and I was like, damn, this is a very average Halloween film. Okay, let's go on to the next one. I was like, this is pretty good. Don't ever think I ever need to see or talk about this film ever again in the rest of my life. I guess I was wrong because I'm talking about it now.
15 years later.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Painfully average, and that's why it gets 2 stars for me. It should be higher, but you people are the reason why I had to lower this score. To put it into perspective, I had to lower my score on Letterboxd to get the average down. What's the average on this movie? 3.6. No, see, this should be like a. That should be at like a solid 2.9 or a 3.
You're out of your fucking
2.9 or a 3.
I don't have any more words. I gotta hear about cocks or something after this.
All right, yeah. What are we talking? What's
What's the cocktober?
Why is everyone looking? I came up with the last one.
All right.
Bob's gonna come up with one we've already done.
I know. I'm worried about that.
Guaranteed.
Who has the best deformed cock in a horror film?
What?
No, serious.
Deformed or
Is there
like it can be like
is there
mutilated.
like one in history?
It can be like okay, Freddy Krueger has a burned cock underneath all of his pants. So you can
Okay,
make
so
Freddy Krueger
you stated this as this is breaking the mold because this is breaking the mold because now like instead of being like who is the sexiest man in this category, we're taking pot shots at who has the most deformed cock.
I think it's who. Okay, who has the best deformed cock though? Like who do you think's the hottest of all?
Who is the sexiest deformed movie villain?
Huh? With a cock.
Is that what we're going for here?
I guess I'm just really trying to keep the cock.
Are we doing Freddy versus Jason Part 2 right now?
But no, listen. But I want you to you had to talk about Majin Vegeta's
No, we'll definitely.
The last episode.
Listen. We'll talk about their dick.
We gotta.
We always talk about their dick. I don't know why you're asking, or why you're acting like we don't talk about the. I don't know who.
Majin Vegeta. You guys are all screaming. Majin Vegeta.
I know you did.
I told you. I told you already.
Vegeta.
Vegeta.
It's a just Chop.
Give him speech therapy right now.
Vegeta. I don't know. So everyone's
But
saying it wrong.
cheetah? Is that what you're saying?
How do you spell it?
VEGETA. What? VEGETA.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay,
you're
fine.
absolutely correct.
Fuck. All right, I gotta get in the zone. I gotta think about the form. I gotta think about the form penis for a minute because
Austin's got to be up there.
okay, true. But I'm thinking like, all right, look. For example,
Do we have to actually... Oh, so we're making inferences. We've never...
inferences. Yes,
The only penis I can recall in a horror film is from Victor Crowley.
absolute legend. That's a great possible pick.
And Sleepaway Camp, obviously. I'm just trying to think of dicks
Correct.
we've actually seen in film.
Well, no,
Miles wants a scarred and mutilated, deformed dick, and the dick at the end of Sleepaway Camp is very average, normal.
and it's kind of weird because the whole
Penis.
kid thing, you know. I mean,
It's
I'm trying to
definitely an adolescent penis, yes.
I'm trying to. We're starting to get away from where. You know, I want to think about like Freddy with like the flesh like hanging off around his dickhead.
What to think about that.
And,
Do you
like,
think
maybe
Freddy's
one of his-
circumcised?
If he
I would
wasn't,
assume.
he is now because there's nothing left around it.
All right, hold on. Do you think Jason is circumcised?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
there's
his
no
mom
way.
would do that. His mom wouldn't do that unless he took a machete.
Okay,
and
okay,
circumcised
okay, for
himself.
real. Who's more hung?
It's got to be Jason.
No,
Yeah.
no, you haven't heard who I'm about to say.
Okay.
Oh, change
Jason
up the
or
rules.
Leatherface? Who's more
Leatherface is
hung?
a micro penis.
I bet Leatherface
okay.
is hung like a fucking horse.
I don't know.
I bet it's like a fucking arm down there.
I could see Leatherface being in the scenario where like he can't even see his dick over
Yeah.
his gut.
Yeah.
Like I could see that. As far as Jason's concerned, I know he's got a fucking hammer. Like I know Jason's got at least fucking 10 inches soft.
We've talked about this in other shows, but his dick just flopping around in those overalls in part 2.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, true.
What is going on, Austin?
Well, I'm taking into consideration, like, we talked about the Hills Have Eyes earlier in the show, which kind of made me think of this. Them and the mutation and stuff. I mean, they might have, like, a cock that splits into another cock, and, I don't know. You never know. So I'm thinking,
How come we never see Belial's cock in Basket Case?
True.
Because he clearly has sex with another Siamese twin at the end of Basket Case too.
Do you think they made him a cock, like, with some of the skin left over from the surgery, or do you think that his cock was actually living inside his
He had-
his body the whole
Yeah,
time?
he had the cock the whole time. He had to.
He has.
Why would you add a cock?
He has a cock.
So you
Because
think his cock was inside his brother's body?
Yes, he was
Inside.
penetrating
Okay,
his
all
brother.
right.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
good.
why they needed
That's all I
separated.
wanted to. That's all I wanted to be said. I was really hoping someone would say that. Thank you.
but where is the cock?
It's retractable.
It's
Okay,
hanging
all right,
underneath- it's hanging
retractable.
underneath, bro.
It's got to be retractable because he does have intercourse with another Siamese twin, and she does have the
progeny.
She does have little fucking
Legend.
Basket Case baby. It's a beautiful thing.
I'm never watching that movie.
We're watching it tonight.
Oh.
Indian food and Basket Case. Let's go. Miles will like stay if we do that.
Miles is like, oh, actually, Mocha doesn't need to go out. We're watching Basket Case.
Deformed.
So are we trying to determine who's the sexiest?
All right, now hold on a second, because we just had a new season of a very popular television show come out, and you got
Vecna's
you
dick.
got to know that Vecna's dick. There's something going on there, for sure.
You want to fuck Vecna?
No, I don't want to fuck Vecna, but Miles wants to talk about deformed penises.
That's a good. I feel like I haven't seen it, but that's a good choice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good choice. I'll probably be the winner, to be
It could
honest.
probably
You're
extend out.
I'm not picking Vecna.
You're not?
Actually, I should pick Vecna. It's a very topical choice.
Yeah, it's very. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
saying. I thought that. What do you got, buddy?
I bet Pumpkinhead's got an insane dick.
Oh, guaranteed.
Fucking
He's more of a creature, but I'll take
Oh.
that. I'll
Guy.
take that. Yeah, that's a good one.
Stop looking at me.
I don't know. I always want to go with something burned or deformed, so I think I'm going to go with Cropsy from the Burnings. Probably weird charred penis.
Oh my. Okay, Victor Crowley's got a massive dick.
He has a massive dick. Yeah.
It's almost over.
I don't know. Fine. You know what? for case in this point, I'll pick Victor Crowley. Because I love the Hatchet films. I watch them, apparently, the older I get, the more I watch the Hatchet films. I watched at least 2 of them this year. I made you watch part 4 that one time for the Underrated
But I
podcast.
just still guarantee Jason's got the biggest dick, so I'll go with Jason.
He's definitely has a monster hog.
He's going hog wild.
So those are
What's the zombie's name from Day of the Dead?
Bub.
Bub. What do you think Bub's packing? You think he's got a massive, or do you think as a zombie that his dick just kind of fell off, just like rotted off his body?
It'd be funny if he just had where it was, but he had some big nuts hanging there just with no dick. Like his dick.
Fair.
Yeah.
There's like true.
Be kind of funny.
Perhaps.
All right.
Well,
so Vecna, Jason,
Victor
Crowley.
check out our website. Jared will be uploading all the photos of these dicks once he creates them in his class. Artist renderings.
That'd be iconic.
Or get on Google. Let Google, let the world, since they're tracking you, know you're looking at monster cocks when you're at home by yourself.
That's true. I could look up Jason Voorhees' cock right now, actually.
Wait, yes, do that.
I swear to God, it's going to be a third arm.
I'm going to say penis, though, just to make sure that we...
Just to be.
Oh, God, I forgot one of the O's.
One of the O's? Oh, and I was like, there's an O in penis.
All right, so we have...
Pino.
All right, there's no penis there. I guess this is just Kane Hodder with, like, full body makeup, I'm assuming. Okay. All right, here we go. That's a hog right there.
Okay, we got to wrap this shit up. We'll see you guys with another episode.
Whoa!
It's once again another podcast.
Uncircumcised, you guys were right.
It's just divulged into Jared looking at porn again, so we gotta wrap this up. We'll see you guys with another episode of Brain Damage coming soon.